your boxing home gym guide, the 10 essential things that you need to get your journey going from the comfort of your own home. Hello Earthlings, Ultraviolet Ronald from the Bronx here, and today we're going to start off with the most essential item when it comes to building that home gym for boxing, the jump rope. You can find a jump rope for $5 to $15, even $20. You can have your standard rope, you can have a beaded rope, or you can have a weighted rope. It all depends upon your goals and what you're trying to achieve. But the whole purpose of the jump rope is to build overall conditioning and to find your rhythm and flow in the sport. So when you're starting out, you want to start with both feet. It makes it easier for you to understand how to get the rope around your body. And as you're bringing that rope around, you want to slightly bring your wrists forward in a circular motion. As you start to find that pattern, then you can start going from one foot at a time while the other toe is tapping. And as you get comfortable right here, then you can throw the heel into it to show progression in your footwork ability. And then from the heel, you can go into the crisscross of the feet. And then as you really start to progress, you can stand still or bringing the rope to the side of you, going right back into it. You can start running in place. You can go into the crisscross. All right, I know I messed up there, but it takes a little time to build that up. But you can go into the crisscross and have fun with it, or you can go into the doubles. And overall, from doing this, it's gonna help you build that conditioning, get your cardio up there, and really tonify your body. But this is probably the most essential thing when it comes to the sport right after your dynamic stretching. Now the second item you want to get is the agility ladder. You can find it at various sports stores or on Amazon from anywhere between $15 to $20, even some $10. But if you don't have an agility ladder or you don't have the money to afford it, you can simply use tape. Now, this is essential. This is something you want to focus on to build from the ground up, to really find that rhythm and flow coming from the jumping rope for number 2 through the agility ladder. Now, you want to start off with light taps, going side to side. This will help you build fast feet. And then from here, you can go into the pendulum step to understand hand, feet, and foot coordination. It's gonna take time to build if you're not used to it. And then from the pendulum step, you can get into constantly switching your stance here, going side to side. Remember, everything comes from the feet and comes from the boxing stance. And as you get comfortable doing this drill here, then you can get into the boxing stance, having those hands up, tightening that body, keeping those elbows in, tucking that chin, and bouncing, and practice having your foot in and coming out. Here, coming out, reset. Here, coming out, reset. And then as you get comfortable here, moving, coming in, coming out, that's gonna help you find your distance. Then you can get into the pendulum step. So bouncing in and out. And as you're bouncing in and out, you wanna make sure your feet stay with you. When it comes back, you don't want it to come back like this, because that's not the stance. You want your foot to come in, feet shoulder width or right outside shoulder width, and come out right outside the shoulder width. Number 3, getting the band with the ball connected to it. This is perfect for helping you get comfortable just constantly moving your hands, throwing in combinations. But you're not really throwing in combinations per se, but it's just to help you condition your shoulders and build up that hand, foot, and eye coordination. Getting used to something coming back to you as if it's a fist and you need to get away with it or counter appropriately. Now you want to do this. You don't need to do this that long. I say about a good 4 to 8 minutes, 1 to 2 rounds, just to get your arms loose and ready for the task ahead. But you can focus on different type of techniques as far as just throwing a jab out there, throwing an uppercut from the jab to find that flow and that rhythm. But again, the goal is just for you to get comfortable with just constantly throwing your hands out there and seeing something come towards your face. All right, number 4. I would strongly advise not to go beyond 3 pounds because I strongly advise not to go above 3 pounds, max 4 when you're shadow boxing with the weights. But keep in mind, gravity goes down, so the weight is going down. It's better if you can use resistance bands. But when you're using weights, since it goes down, it's better to punch in an upward motion because you're going against gravity, or to uppercut. But you can throw hooks in there if you're just trying to loosen it up. But do not throw maximum force while throwing the hooks when you have weights in your hand, because you really put yourself at risk for taking your shoulder out of alignment. So when you're shadow boxing, just focusing on loosening up your arms. That's why you throw the weights in there. And it helps you keep your hands up. It's going to condition those shoulders to get comfortable staying up, because at first, when you're not used to boxing, it's super hard for you to keep those hands up when you don't have that discipline in play. But to help build that discipline, it's good to have weights in your hands to build that strength up in your shoulders to keep them up. So this is an excellent thing to add to your arsenal, especially when you're trying to build those hands. All right, number 5, the resistance bands. Now you can find this on Amazon for about $55. It's a little expensive, but the awesome thing about this is that you'll be able to build speed. They're very durable, and it helps with building strength in your hip abductors, your glutes, your quads, as you're moving around by keeping that tension on your legs. Because when you're keeping your feet at shoulder width, that tension really starts to build up. And if you go a little bit wide, you're gonna feel it even more. But you don't wanna go too wide because you're planting yourself. And if you're not trying to land a knockout blow, it's gonna be easier for you to get hit. But the main focus with the resistance bands are straight punches, the 1-2, your bread and butter, and the most essential combination in the sport. You can never go wrong with that 1-2. So work and focus on building it up, breaking that muscle down so you can have the strength required to have more speed when you're throwing that jab cross. But take your time, slowly build up to using the resistance bands, understand the form first without it, and then work your technique into it. Number 6, leg resistance bands. Now, the strongest part of your body and the biggest muscle in your body are your legs. So you can't neglect your legs. The great thing about this item here is going to help keep that tension on your legs. So you could use this while moving forward and advancing in the stance, going side to side, or just simply squatting. Okay, you're going to feel it a lot. You can go side to side in the squat position here, staying low, constantly building up that tension. This is great to build up your leg strength and get comfortable with your legs moving while having that resistance there. Because the more and more comfortable you get, the easier it gets to move around. Your legs don't get as tired, and you're not doing Bambi legs when you get hit by a punch because you have your legs there to support you. So for number 6, this is a great item. Costs about $15. You can't go wrong here. You get about 3. This is the light one. You get light, medium, and heavy. Number 7, the wing-chun punching bag. I know I said wing-chun and it's boxing, but this is very useful. You throw punches in wing-chun just in a different way, and they're straight. Hey, we got the 1-2 that's very similar to it. Now, the thing you're gonna focus on when hitting this bag is driving force into it from the back of your hand, the side, and your palm. Now, the whole purpose of this is to condition your whole hand for whatever force that may come your way. In a more advanced way is to hit the floor without it. And as a result, you start to build callus on your hand, making it more resistant to being torn or hurt in the midst of battle. And then from here, you can get into the planks. You can just hold it for about 30 seconds to a minute in this position. And as you build on your toughness and grit, then you can go into the knuckle push-ups to really build that foundation of strength in your overall arm through doing this because you're gonna strengthen your wrist, your hand, and your forearm. Take it slow. If you're gonna do this for about 5 minutes during practice. Do not overdo it because I don't want you to hurt yourself. But it's an excellent addition to your arsenal to really give you the upper hand. Because remember, your hand is easily susceptible when you're punching hard with those gloves. Because sometimes you leave your hands open, you're not paying attention, you hit with a lot of force, and guess what? You break your hand. I don't want that to be you. So take your time, do your due diligence, but have fun in the process and be safe while doing it. Number 8, upper body development. Starting off with the grippers. You can find some for $5, $10, or even $15. The cool thing about this is that you can literally do this anywhere. In your bed, with your spouse, with your best friend, at the bar, at the club, at home watching your favorite TV show on the couch, in school. Doesn't matter where you are, you can do this, and it helps build that strength in your hand and in your forearms. Now this goes from 10 to 130 pounds. They have some that go all the way up into 350 to even 400 pounds. Now to get up to that level, that's very advanced, that's very difficult, and that's crazy. But the next thing you can focus on here is the old traditional forearm exercise with the roller. So you could put like 5 to 10 pounds on there and focus on rolling the weight up on the rope. You can do this with your hands facing downward or facing upward. Either way, you're gonna strengthen your forearms, giving you that edge when that time comes to take a punch on your forearm and build overall strength in that area. And then last but not least, the pull-up. Now when you're doing the pull-up, you can do the pull-up either close. The easiest is probably on the inside though, especially starting out, or wide. This is more advanced. But when you're doing it, you want to take your time. Pull-ups is probably the best thing to build overall upper body strength. But if you're not used to doing pull-ups, just focus on the hang and slightly flex your scapula in the process. That's going to build up the strength. Now, you can hang anywhere between a minute, 5 to even 10 minutes. And then as that strength in your hands and your forearms build up, then you can slowly get into doing a pull-up. Even if it's halfway, keep going for it. And if you need to add a resistance band to the bottom of your foot to help you go fully up, do so, but not too much resistance. And over time, you build that strength up, you can go from 1 to 5, 10, 15, 20, or even 30 to 50 pull-ups. But it takes time. This is one of the hardest exercises to get really good at and build up your reps. Number 9, the famous dip bar. Now, you can find one at a lot of parks, but if your park don't have one, you can buy this for about $40 to $50. The cool thing about the dip bar is that, like you were seeing me do here, you can do dips on it. You can hold your feet out in front of you, doing the L, and that's gonna really focus on your core, or you can just simply hold in this position here, keeping the tension in your tricep, and then from the tricep, you can go into the inverted row to build up your back to ultimately do the pull-ups if you're having a hard time with the pull-ups. The inverted row is the gateway to really building up your back to making it easier for you to do the pull-up. Now, in boxing, you don't want to have too much muscle because too much muscle means your muscle is going to fill up with a lot of lactic acid. Too much oxygen creates your arms getting heavier, and then over time, your arms start to slowly come down. Your opponent catches onto that and make it easier for them to see an opening to knock you out. So, if you are focusing on building strength, just do calisthenics. If you're gonna do weights, focus on the power movements, like the deadlifts, like the bench press, like the split jerks, the cleans, the snatches. Focus on those type of movements to build overall upper body strength, the squat. Do not focus on all of these isometrics. There's no need for that because boxing is a full body exercise, and if your full body is going into the punch, that's gonna be a more dangerous punch. Now, number 10, this is the best apparatus to help you strengthen your neck, your traps, and just your overall head to help you absorb the blow and the impact of a punch. Now, you don't wanna be using too much weight because it's very easy to injure your neck. Keep that in mind. So even if you're using lightweight, to the moment we really start to feel that exhaustion, stop, take a break for about 30 to 60 seconds, and then go right back into it. You do it here this way.
Oh my
God! You're lying down. You can go from here and just build your neck up from the side, going from the right or to the left. But remember, when you're doing this,
oh my
you don't want
God!
to use too much weight because it's very easy for you to injure your neck. Do it enough to where you build your neck up to help you absorb blows, and you're keeping in mind when you're about to absorb the impact of a punch, you're keeping your chin down, making you less susceptible to the force that is coming your way. Hopefully everything helps. This here costs about $40. You can find it on dmoose.com. Remember, you can learn how to box from the comfort of your own home. But if you want to take it to the next level, you're going to have to go to a gym, because sparring is what ultimately develops your skill and to see where you stand with the rest of the population. Hopefully this video helped. Hopefully this video helps you. Thank you for joining me on this journey to ultraviolet. And if you liked the video, please comment and subscribe, and always work towards becoming your greatest version.